Oh my gosh. Harold is the official recording Western.
We need one.
Can I ask a simple question? It's probably something everybody knows. What's the relevancy of leavened versus unleavened bread in this context? What's the relevancy? Why? What's the why behind this?
It represents that they did not have time for the leaven to rise. The other thing is, leaven represents sin. So, Yeshua being unleavened bread, the Bethlehem, he's born in the house of bread. He's sinless. So that piece of the meal is supposed to represent him. It's pierced, and it's also have stripes on it from the baking. It's broken. But that's what it represents. They didn't have time to let the bread rise, and they pack it away and they cook it as cakes in the desert, like a meal to go, I guess. Keep them sustenance. And I think the whole meal really was to kind of give them some energy for what they were about to do. Just imagine that. Just setting out over the desert in columns. It had to be a, exciting and terrifying thing, leaving the comfort of Goshen and going out into the desert, not knowing what was going to happen. You absolutely had to do signs and wonders to keep them going, because I could just imagine somebody carrying a load of whatever they had saying, you know what, these palm trees look pretty good. I think I'm going to camp right here. You guys
This oasis is nice. Yeah. I'll stick here.
I asked Darla, I said, is there any indication that any of them peeled off during this journey, or did he drove them all, just like sheep, he drove them all out of there. And that is a huge undertaking, because the human instinct of, this huge journey is to, I'm out of danger. I'm pretty safe here. You guys go ahead. I'm going no further, because that's 120 degrees average is what it is in a desert there, and it's miserable. No water. So it had to be terrifying.
And children and mothers and animals and
so
that takes a lot of faith, and so it must have taken a lot of wonder.
I think that is why they suffered some during the plagues. The first couple of plagues they did suffer, and I think it made it uncomfortable for them, just as he did for Elijah. When Elijah got complacent and comfortable by the brook, remember Yahuwah gave him a brook and a vine, or it was a fig tree or something that he gave for shade. And he was comfortable. He wasn't going anywhere until you threw the brook up, and he withered the branches, and he had no other choice. He had to get up and go. So God will do that. He'll make it uncomfortable for you if he's trying to get you to move in some direction. I can estimate.
I'm noticing he's not very subtle sometimes.
Wow. So that's the season we're in.
So what about I read some, an article about stuff with yeast in it, and a lot of like cosmetics and stuff like that were mentioned.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's a little, not what someone who's saying, well, Jonathan, you're putting them under the law. There's the burden. What if they don't get out all of the leaven? Are they going to, I think it's the effort of trying to keep it as Yahuwah has commanded. If there's something left, I don't think he's going to strike you down or kill you or something like that. He's bringing us back. These things are being restored back to us. So it's exactly. It's a rehearsal. It's also a teaching a time, learning time. Just like when Yeshua was doing with his disciples in the Last Supper, it was a teaching opportunity for him to reveal to them who this lamb was. And can you imagine? Go ahead.
Would it be appropriate to have unleavened bread and wine communion type of thing?
No, it's not. I mean, now I wouldn't sit there and go through the whole ritual of this is his body and holding it up and breaking it, and
Well, no.
But having the wine, eating. I mean, because there's nothing wrong with drinking wine, folks. If you didn't know, there wasn't grape juice in ancient times. It was grape juice for probably a day or so, because immediately after crushing the grapes, they start to ferment. So the new wine, some Christians will say, well, they were drinking new wine. There was no alcohol in it. No, new wine means of this harvest, not last harvest. So the wine was fermented. It's okay to have wine. Don't be excessive and get drunk, beat your kids, kind of thing. But you know what I mean. Drinking wine's okay as long as you don't use it. It's understood what it represents.
Manischewitz is a really nice one. It's very fruity, very sweet, and you can mix a little bit with juice and give your children a taste.
Yeah, Manischewitz, which is the Hebrew kosher wine.
The bottle. I'll bring it.
It's like a sweet sweet wine, I guess you can cook with and things like that. But Darla is saying mix it with
Jonathan,
a little juice and have some of that. Yeah.
may I share something with you about the, is it called chametz or shametz? The leaven.
Yeah.
Chametz.
Yeah.
So I just got this today, the family Haggadah, and it's got in English. Oh, I love this. And it talks about after you do your cleaning, then you say in your language that you understand, you say, any chametz which is left in my possession, which I did or did not see, which I did or did not remove, shall be nullified and become ownerless like the dust of the earth.
Yes. So that is that is the insurance. Just in case you didn't get everything else. I just heard a speaker talking about that last night when I was studying for this Passover. How they observe it if there's something found after Passover, they just destroy it. They don't freak out about it because they've just said this little prayer, so it's covered, and they just throw it away. They don't eat it. Now, if you eat it, that's something different. If you just like, oh, well, I ate some leftover cookies from Passover, start going to town. Don't do that. Throw it out, because it's the whole point of getting the leaven out, and it's a new year starting over, a spring cleaning kind of thing. But the whole point is to make the connection with our Messiah, because all the variables of this point to Him. If God, bring me some matzah. Everything. God's connection to Him. Matzah.
Here, this is the Manischewitz.
This is the Manischewitz that Darla
Very sweet.
talking about. It's called Manischewitz. Got a little grape on it.
What's it called? I can't see that.
Manischewitz.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
The Manischewitz, back in the day, the teenagers that couldn't get alcohol would steal it out of stores, and all the teenagers would be drinking Manischewitz that I knew, which is at that time it was very gross. I hated wine, but these guys I knew were drinking it. That's how the first time I came across it. I had no idea that it was a Orthodox and kosher wine. And the matzah,
So would Mogen David, would that work? Because it says it's, what's that, the kosher. It says it's kosher on the wine. Does that mean anything?
does it mean anything? For Jews, listen, the process is we've got some background noise. Everything that you ingest for Jewish people is blessed and goes through a kosher approval. Wine is no different, I would think. So it just happens to be the Jewish kosher wine. I'm not saying that if you got some Boone's Farm, it wouldn't work. It's not about the brand, really. I don't. Matzos, as you can see here, I'm not going to open this box, but you can see that it's got such a glare. It is pierced. There's holes in this bread, but also the banding from the way it's baked. Not a really good picture on there. That's kind of like straw.
I have one up.
There you go. You can see the piercings in it. It's just like a big cracker.
And it's really good if you're allergic to gluten.
So that's it. Is there any more questions about Passover?
No, I think that clears everything up.
Yeah. I wasn't sure about all the things you talked about, the yogurt and all that, and that clears it up a lot. I need to still clean some more.
I got a lot.
I wanted to share with everyone, though. I went through my spices, which surprised me because some of them, especially the Knorr ones, have yeast extract in them. And so did my red beans and rice, which really shocked me, you know? So it's a good time to go through expiration dates, too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm doing that too.
Yeah. And so it can be a headache doing this. And I think that's what you were maybe intended it to be, a little unpleasant. It's not the funnest. I mean, like Sukkot, for instance. Everything about Sukkot is fun. But with Passover, it's a lot of preparation and a lot of things that you got to kind of.
Well,
Freezing your butt off is not fun.
Well, my first observance was Day of Atonement, so that was quite a shocker for me. And I didn't have anything to eat or drink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a long day.
It was.
Yeah, that's
Is that the day when they sacrifice the scapegoat?
the Day of Atonement.
Or
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
What Paul's talking about is you're supposed to afflict yourself and fast and
right.
yeah, kind of, pray and it's really about seeking covering of your sins or any iniquity and things like that. Just a spiritual purification, but afflicting oneself is what the scripture says.
Yeah, I just listened to the first video from that English guy on my Ezekiel teaching today, and boy, was that quite intense. Haven't even listened to part 2 yet.
Oh, it was on generational iniquity, but Matthew Nolan.
Oh yeah,
Generational iniquity, 3 and 4 generations.
that was a mind blower.
What specifically, Paul?
I think it's just the connection between that and our DNA and the scarring.
Yeah.
It all made sense. It was all very clear and kind of puts a fire under your butt to do things right, especially with your children and people around you.
Yeah.
Watch what you say, watch what you vow,
Yes.
Oh yeah. Everything out of the mouth is judged, whether it's righteous or unrighteous, blessing or curse. Wow. I didn't see so much chat going on over here. Make sure I didn't miss anything.
Paul, where are you watching those videos or those teachings?
I think it's in the modules.
26. It's
26.
in module 26.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah,
It'll
you're
be
welcome.
up. Coming up. You guys, anybody working on codes or any modules that you want to talk about?
I'm on just the right module right now for the Exodus. So that's really, it just coincided so perfectly. It was beautiful. I think it's 16, 17.
Is it on the Exodus?
Mm-hmm. Well, part of it is.
Oh, okay. I don't remember it.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, 17.
Yeah, we were talking. Is that you, Wendy?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about how perfect it was, how perfectly timed we had it.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Good. Good.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed the last three. You got Isaiah, Jeremiah, and Ezekiel. Well, I'm just starting Ezekiel, but I mean, it's intense.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, it was a tough one for me, Paul.
I can tell.
Yeah.
It's 50 pages printed out both sides.
Oh my gosh.
But I wouldn't say that
By the way, you guys, you can just, scroll to the bottom and look at the verses if you want, in the
This is supposed to be a level 101 course, not a 903.
Oh, they're advancing.
Oh no, it's pure meat.
Good.
Isn't it, Paul? I feel the same way. I mean, I'm going really slowly right now just because of other things, but there's just so much more to glean from each one that comes along. It's like more and more meat, like you said, more sustenance.
And the rabbit trails that it takes you on, just unbelievable. Mm-hmm. And then in the middle of the Jeremiah one, he puts out this table. Jonathan puts out this table about Mount Sinai, and I'm like, wow! And I'm watching all that stuff. It was just so cool.
Well, that's cool.
It really is.
Well, I'm glad you guys are enjoying the Hebrew side of it. That's a big part. And we had a student just rejected that. All they wanted to do was codes, and if you don't have one, it's going to be hard to do the other. And those of you that are enjoying, I appreciate that you're getting and absorbing the information, because you'll retain it. Is Paula here? She's one of them who, as she's learned, she's seen things, Hebrew words, somewhere else, and it's something she's learned, so she's recognized. And so now the recognition of words and phrases is there. And I was kind of excited for her because I remember when I was able to distinguish what someone was saying. And it was just amazing that I picked it up and retained it. And now every time I see those kind of words, like the end of days, Achret Yamin, something I learned from Glazerson. He kept showing this term, end of days. I was like, wow, I'm going to use this phrase, Achret Yamin, which is the end of days. And now every time I see it, I can pick it.
Hey guys.
Yeah.
I was just reading Drudge Report. It looks like Trump just launched 50 missiles at a Syrian base, 50 Tomahawk missiles.
Are you kidding me?
Nope, drudgereport.com.
Wow. Which brings us to this, which I put out today. So there's a little segue.
That's why I'm bringing it up. That's why, because it's totally relevant.
Now, this is a table that's more than 25 years old or older, guys. This is from Michael Drosnin's book, Atomic Holocaust. He made a lot of wild predictions after Yitzhak Rabin's assassination. It was like he was cranking out all these predictions and stuff. So what he had was basically an atomic holocaust and one or two words. And he was like, World War III's coming this year. Da-da. He had all these people freaking out. Nothing happened. That is more than 25 years ago. Now, the thing about this table is it's been relevant this whole time. And I found Kennedy in here. So from the time of at least Kennedy to the present day Trump, which is the only president that has any interaction or connects to the Access term itself. You can see Trump's name there. Obama's here loosely, proximity off to the side, just like Kennedy. Clinton is here. Clinton's came up in this area. Bush, again, nothing like Trump, with the Tet in his name. Right next to this little clustering here is America. You see America running through there. That Resh in Israel, so America and Israel connected with NATO running through there. And then that word there, Mishepatim, which is the judgments. There's 7 of those here, 7 judgments here. a lot of detail. A lot of detail I was able to pull out of this as far as words and phrases and names. All the major players, like I said, all the presidents since Kennedy are here. Kim.
Wow.
Yeah, Kim Jong-un as well. All these letters right here is Kim Jong-un. You've got Kim, and then right up under that in the same skip is Jung. And so I look a little closer, and the two letters right there is Un. So you got all parts of his name right there on that right side.
Wow.
Very close proximity to America and NATO and all this. On the other side, you have the country, Korea, running through Israel, sharing that Russian there, with Putin's name going in that direction. So Putin and Trump, very close proximity. Korea's there. Kim Jong-un is there as well. And like I said in the video I did, guys, if you kind of base that methodology, like, searching out Isaiah 53 or anything Yeshua, we know priori and post-priori terms. Remember that? Priori terms is terms that you know you're about to top it. Post-priori would be something in the dark, shot in the dark, things you find out later that you didn't know when you initially started searching. So, it's really not that difficult to, plug in and see if Russia's here or see if Iran or China, which they all are. Iran, China, Russia, Syria.
Was Assad there?
I believe Assad is here. Now, this is something I searched before, and I'm recalling that, but it's not here right now because I backed all of those terms up. If I left everything in here that's here, it would be so congested. We just wouldn't be able to. Right. So what I would do is I'll pull up different screens of the same table. And so I'll have different terms in the same table and different shots. And I can flip back and forth between them and work them. That's kind of how you can kind of keep your tables streamlined and not so congested. Riku is doing that with his second Exodus table. Almost got a hiccup.
Well, that's amazing. The judgment 7 times. That's...
Yeah, judgment 7 times. How about this? The last video that I did had this same passage, which is talking about the scepter of Jacob. And it's got Nibiru in it. You see Nibiru is at a skip of 39 in there, sharing the yoke of end of days. There's that Achret Yamim right there with it. So that is a chapter and verses that Glenderson has attributed to Nibiru. However, he hasn't shown that Nibiru is actually in the chapter and verses there. He's only, had it come out in his table about Nibiru. I've got a table where the Nibiru is vertical running through this particular chapters and verses. But just last week I found Nibiru, the long version, is also in there. This was the other place where I had highlighted, and it just simply was the same thing. Achret Yamim is mentioned also in this on around the axis, the cylinder here, a little further. I don't see it, but it's probably a little further around. I thought that was pretty interesting. 2 times, two. Not only that, it says when you're in tribulation, when thou art in tribulation. So connection to that in there. 3 benchmarks of time. So also Jubilee is in here as well. There's a Jubilee there. It's a lot of detail here. Not makes it a predictive table. I look at it more of as high probability. I mean, some of these are low probability. It's unlikely it's going to happen. And some of these are very high probability, meaning it's highly likely that something could break out. With all this data in here, it reminds me, like I keep going back to the Yeshua tables. If you can pull and show equal amount of detail with equal amount of impact of words, it should translate over to, this is probably very accurate. We're not, finding random words. I'm not showing you, you know, a bunch of gobbledygook. All these are these are relevant and, you know, contextual to each other. So I don't follow the news much anymore, but from what I've gathered the past couple of days, there's been some, you know, bantering going on with war drums. North Korea firing missiles, you know, to provoke. What Rick just read, I had no idea what was going on. That's very interesting to see that is taking place. So that's what I've been working on here, guys.
Can you do a search for Tomahawk in that cable?
What was that? Say that again.
Tomahawk, did you say?
Tomahawk?
The Tomahawk, yeah.
Tomahawk.
You know how to do that?
How to spell that? Now, missile is in here. Missiles are in here. Also, submarine. Submarine is down here.
Yeah.
Missile is also down here, but I think I backed it out. Let's look for Tomahawk.
And I don't know how to spell chemical. Maybe if I looked at it in Israel or something.
Okay, so make sure I got a good color. We can see when it comes up. How about after a while, like you've heard me say before, after a while you have to manually change your colors, or it'll all the words come out the same color. You don't want to do that. Let's see. So we got Tomahawk. Never thought about looking for that.
Yeah.
Don't see it. All right, so
Okay.
what we'll do is called snooping, and you can move your table, just turning that cylinder around, core turn, kind of going off, and just to see if there's something on this side of it, and vice versa. Do that again. Nothing's come up. Pull it over to the other side. Just to see if there's anything, because what you'll find in this is just because you got a snapshot of something in one area of a cylinder, there's usually continuations of stories all the way around it, up and down it. So like you have Kennedy up here. Now this seems like it's off by itself, but it may have a relevance of something else. It may have a relevance to this table. We're talking about proximity now. So snooping around and looking for things may or may not have any relevance to what you're looking at. This, however, this term, if it had come up, I would think would be relevant, but it doesn't come up.
And then we also have the word ICBM, the initials, intercontinental ICBM. So would that be like an what is that? What would be the I?
The intercontinental missile.
Yeah, Yod,
Noon.
Bet Mem. Would that be how it be pronounced, or in Hebrew?
Oh, Yod.
Let's see. How would you say? Darla, are you in here?
Yeah, I am here.
How would you?
What's the word?
ICBM is initials. We got the Bet Mem. So how would you say I and C? The Yod Ka?
The continental? Yeah, I'd say it's probably. But the I could be an olive. Be an iron.
Iron or olive? That's kind of difficult point.
Yeah, I'm not trying to challenge you. Please understand, I'm not trying to challenge.
No. It's okay. I will figure that out. Sometimes capitalize initials or something is a little difficult.
Because those are the missiles that Korea is firing into the Sea of Japan.
Right.
They're ICBM missiles.
Right. That's what I was telling Darla yesterday. There's flexing their muscles on and showing America that they can reach the West Coast with these missiles.
I got the spelling with tomahawk if you want it.
I got that one. It's
In
not in
Hebrew.
there.
I got the Hebrew spelling.
I had that. What do you got?
Well, it's Hey Set Wa Mem Olive Hey Olive Wa Kuf.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, that's enough.
Yeah, it's got an olive in there. It's the same letters, but with an olive in there.
Okay.
What's interesting is I had heard, you know, the whole spring, what do you call it? The
Arab Spring?
Arab Spring. The only person they had left over was really Assad to get rid of. And it's been said that he was set up with these two gas things, that he never gassed his people.
Probably not.
That it was all set up so that, you know, since Trump especially is pulling out of NATO and the UN and stuff, they're trying to pull us right back in. And this is the perfect way to do it. And they said that it had been planned. Actually, I think it was Stephen Bendanoon that did a report about how this had been planned for a month and a half.
This was right now, this particular chemical.
Yeah, this particular chemical gas attack had been planned for a month and a half. And
I'm seeing it as a false flag.
Yeah, exactly.
And the reason because videos were uploaded prior to the actual
event.
Videos were uploaded of the devastation prior to like a day earlier than the actual attack.
Yeah.
And so that's their quote proof that it's a false flag.
Yeah, I believe a lot of it is staged. And
yeah. They used some of the old videos from the last one. I noticed a couple of those.
And the other thing that don't mean to cut you off. The other thing is that I understand now what North Korea's logic is for pursuing the nuclear weapons and being so bold. What he's looking at is he saw what happened when Libya gave up their nuclear capabilities. What he saw was when Iraq gave up their nuclear capabilities. He's thinking that what's going to happen is the U.S. is going to come in and they're going to strip Korea of this, and then they'll take over. They'll overrun. That's what he's afraid of.
Yeah, certainly volatile.
It makes sense. I mean, if you look at it from his perspective, I'd be scared too. You know, you're pissing off.
Not to mention, he's just an immature little boy anyway.
Yeah, he's very good.
playing his Game Boy.
Yeah, seriously, that's all he did in his youth, I think.
Now he gets to play with the real thing.
Exactly.
Yikes. All right.
Yeah, so the Syrian thing is really a proxy war between multiple governments. It's just the battleground where it's all taking place. I don't think Assad is the evil person that is being portrayed in all of the media. Matter of fact, if you put together a little dossier of the man himself, you'll find he's quite a gentle person. He's very soft-spoken. He's an ophthalmologist by profession. He's a physician, and he dedicated his life in Western studies to the care of people. Every interview that I've seen him do, he's very composed, very calm, and he has point by point, shot down all of the accusations and points out, no, this is Hamas or it's Hezbollah or it's Russia. And he points out the different factions that are coming in and to destabilize the country.
His country.
I don't doubt that his soldiers and forces are probably brutal, very brutal people. But I don't think it's to the level that they are portraying in the media as some sort of, like a Hussein or Gaddafi or something like that. He's nowhere near that. I think he's actually to destabilize him and move him out. You'll have another.
Is bad.
Yeah, Egypt and Libya, where who's going to be in charge? Really, it'd be
a U.S. pawn, a UN pawn, and in fact, he actually protected the Christians in his country. He's been the only one to protect the Christians. It's so that's I found that rather interesting. You know, hearing Christians talking about the fact that he had protected them, and you don't hear about that. You know,
no, it's definitely something that he's not perpetrating. Now, he didn't start all of this that's going on. With the shots that were fired about 4 years ago at the protesters, that maybe had something to do with his forces. But with all the the Mujahideen and all the others that have come into the battleground to fight, or propagated that to happen, supplied them. All the video that I see is American and Russian weapons. No kidding. You can see ISIS people firing an American TOW missile at a tank on YouTube, which tells me they're being supplied by the Americans. The Russians don't have TOW missiles. That's an American weapon system. It costs about $40,000 for that system. Not to mention the missiles that go with it. This is the total package. Each one of those missiles are probably thousands of dollars a piece. It's not cheap, but yet they got them. Where'd they come from? They didn't fall from the sky. They were supplied by the CIA. The Stinger missile systems, the shoulder-fired missile systems that take down airplanes or helicopters at 35,000 feet.
I thought those were confiscated. From the Iraq army.
Well, what happened is when Libya was overthrown, there was 22,000 missile systems that they had in their arsenal. We gave them, and they're gone. They're gone, and I suspect we'll probably see them somewhere else, either firing at jumbo jets with people on them at airports with some sort of terrorist attack, or used against our own soldiers somewhere. It can't be good. But yeah, that's just an example of how these weapons are getting in their hands, and and then you have people like Obama going, "We're trying to take out ISIS." No, you're supplying ISIS. That's what happened.
You're just being technical, Jonathan.
It's what we saw with Libya, like you said, with was it Gaddafi?
Yep.
Yeah, they did exactly the same thing. Took the head off so they could put one of their pawns in. With every one of those countries, Egypt,
still unstable.
Yeah, completely, and that's what they wanted. Order out of chaos, right?
Yeah.
The Hegelian dialect, is it not?
The what?
No.
Hegelian dialect.
The Hegelian dialect, feces, antitheses, and syntheses, like the same thing, order out of chaos. Create the problem and then solve it.
Yeah. So, wow. So we fired missiles into Syria. That's pretty serious.
Yeah.
Reuters
and CNN.
I kind of thought that the spark would be over the Temple Mount, but the scriptures do say in Isaiah that Jerusalem will become a burdensome stone, and Damascus a ruinous heat. And never in its history has that ever happened. In the thousands of years that Damascus has existed, never has it been like it looks today.
I was studying the map today of that area, Jonathan, and did you know that right outside of Damascus is Mount Hermon? It's right outside of Damascus.
I did know that in a roundabout way. I knew that mount was north of Israel, but I didn't know it was that close.
It's really close.
Wow. One of the most oldest cities in the world, minus the Chinese and Asian culture. It's one of the oldest civilizations in the world right there.
Yeah.
Syrians, by the way, for the most part, are very, very friendly people. Any culture will have religious fanatics, but the Syrians I know are very pleasant and friendly, and compassionate people. I used to work for a Syrian man in a Mediterranean restaurant, and he was a good guy. Matter of fact, I worked for him right before 9/11, so this is before all the stuff with Muslims. I don't know how he is today as far as the employer. You guys got anything you want to share?
I was just going to say that in the last module, Damascus is pretty much all the way to Damascus is our territory. And Yahuwah sprinkle that healing water on the land, and it'll be beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just this little strip.
That's right.
It's huge.
Yes, it's huge.
It includes part of Jordan.
Jordan.
I mean, it's huge.
Syria, Saudi Arabia, even into Egypt, son. So it's a very.
Wherever Abraham touched his feet.
In fact, that whole Levant practically.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah, that's the dynamic between two half brothers, Yitzhak and Isaac. Ishmael and Isaac.
Yeah.
Something I've never understood, Jonathan, about that is I don't understand the fact that Ishmael, it was said, okay, these two brothers will, are in the womb and they're fighting.
Oh, that's
already,
Jacob. That's
and
Jacob.
the sword will be, right.
Yeah, that's Jacob and
The
Esau.
sword will be in his hand.
That's Jacob and Esau, and that's another two brothers, another story. What I'm talking about is Ishmael and Isaac.
Ishmael.
Yeah, this would be
Okay.
Jacob and Esau's father.
Esau.
So another dynamic with brothers, and it's his half brother. It's not his twin, and it's is it Hagar?
Yeah.
Hagar. That she was a concubine, and he has his child with. Of course.
That's right.
Yeah, and of course, he's circumcised.
Rachel.
He's circumcised. So
right.
there is a connection to the land because of the covenant. So I think that's why they have a presence so strongly, and that why Yahuwah allows it is because Abraham asked it of him. No other explanation. He didn't want to do it, but Abraham asked it, and he did it. I think we're seeing the consequences of that.
Do you think that this could lead to along the lines with something with Russia and Iran?
Absolutely.
And martial law because of a Nibiru thing?
Well, that could be pretty interesting if martial law's there. Now, I think Nibiru is present in this Holocaust table because I think there'll be indicators in the heavens of these events. This could very well be, sparked off in Syria. Like I said, I thought it would be Israel, but technically we're in Israel with what's going on in Syria, so it's right there. See what happens.
We do know that when I was reading through that complete Jewish Bible with the kids last Shabbat, we were reading about where Yahuwah was saying that he keeps a vigil on Passover over the tribes on Passover night.
Did you hear that, Gus? What Darla just said?
What does that mean?
Well, it apparently
Every year he keeps a vigil over us.
Yeah, just like
what is a vigil? Like he stays up at night?
Keeps a watch.
Yeah.
Keeps a watch, like it says in the scriptures. His eyes search the world for heart. I think that he keeps watch over the earth and records who is keeping his feast. Just like in Malachi, where it talks about those that gather, there's a special book of remembrance for those who gather in his name and who meditate upon things of him. I think it's the same thing. He takes note of that. See who is doing it. Who will go the distance. I think that's what it means.
I think
Where was that from? What writings was that from?
that was from the Complete Jewish Bible.
Complete Jewish Bible is what she's saying. So it was,
It's funny. I told my husband that same thing today, but I didn't know where I'd heard it or where it was from or anything.
Yeah, I think we mentioned it because I didn't remember that in the story. But I think I was reading to them from between Exodus 10 and 15 in there. And Yahuwah definitely said that he kept vigil over the 12 tribes of Israel that night every year.
so that's pretty amazing that after the original Exodus, on Passover, he would keep a vigil each year on that night to see who is remembered.
I think it's not so much about who's remembering it, but that there's a reason to keep vigil. Like the name of the month is their flight.
The flight. So you think the next greater Exodus will be in Nisan?
Or something happening. I mean, we all tend to look the month of Passover and the month of Sukkot every year. Even the Christians, they hype up. They're anticipating the rapture or whatever.
Right.
We're all anticipating the Father's rescue. So I would think, since he says that this is a vigil that he keeps every Passover night, every year, and tells us to keep it every year, I would think it's a great time to have our staff in our hand and be ready to go.
Yeah. You know, I think it's interesting that all the plagues that are mentioned in Exodus, it's also in Revelation.
In Revelation.
Same exact one.
Yeah.
So we have to swap out our staff for a bug out bag?
You can get a staff.
You get a staff and a bug out bag.
If you live in California, probably.
Good one, Rick.
But it's interesting that today is the 10th day, and then this has happened.
4 more days.
Yeah.
You mean, are you talking about the missiles?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
That's
wow.
in the table that I just showed you guys. Is Pesach. Remember, Pesach is right there with Kim Jong-il. Pesach. This is the story of Passover right in here. With Syria. Look at that. That in the green is Syria.
Oh, that's
Interesting. How that's like that.
I gotta get my bug out bag.
Now, Amy just said, what was it you just said, Amy? That was really interesting. She just said something.
This day the Lamb is chosen. This is the day the Lamb is chosen.
Oh, this is the day the Lamb is chosen.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was interesting. Wow.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was thinking about Canaan.
It's just so exciting, really, to think about this time of the year. Is really, it's either this or it's like the Feast of Trumpets and Yom Kippur time and Sukkot, that the people of Yahuwah are rallied up and risen up in their spirits, and they are looking for him. So it's a very exciting time, even though it's a lot of work and some extra stress in our life right now. But I know that every year, once we get the work done, it's really joyous.
Yeah.
It's a joyous week. I mean, all we're missing is bread. Hello.
Yeah.
We can eat all the meat we want, and all the potatoes and veggies and whatever.
Yeah.
Just no risen bread.
Right. I meant for like the actual feast itself. It's not supposed to be like lean back and eating a lot of lamb and just gorging on food like you know, just, it's a feast. It's not that kind of a feast. It's in haste.
Yeah. And I usually put Yahushua's blood on the door in terms of the Paleo Hebrew letters.
Yeah.
I put Dam Yahushua.
Yeah. The blood of Yahushua in Hebrew she puts on there. We also have the mezuzot out there as well, which she's put handwritten prayers in each one of those. Yeah. That also represents the blood on the doorpost. I think we have some empty ones up there.
Yeah, we do. I'll show them.
She's going to grab a mezuzot. But she wrote out these prayers and put them in there, and I think they were from Psalms maybe, and put them on our doors. This represents the same thing, and so
This is from Israel. It's olive wood.
sacrificing is. I mean, people. It's not an agricultural world. Everyone have lamb and goats, so it's just more practical. Is do something like this, which is just a glass tube, and I think that is that acacia?
Olive wood.
Olive wood.
Yeah.
Olive tree that it came from, and so she put the prayers in there. We glued them to the doorposts, and they're beautiful little. You can get them on eBay. Some are very plain like this, where you put your own prayers. Some have prayers in them. And some can get very cheap, all the way up to thousands of dollars if you've gotten to the Orthodox Jews, and they get very ornate in gold and silver.
Intricate.
Yeah, crazy. Because if you put that on the outside of your house and somebody comes by and jimmies it off,
take it.
Yeah, so I didn't get that. How they would spend so much money on mezuzah.
A little blessing for someone else.
The phylacteries and the phylacteries and the what is it called?
Tefillin.
Tefillin. The tefillin they wrap around. Again, you can get them, a couple $100 up to $50,000 for that.
Wow.
Yeah, and so. Yeah, that's crazy. You got some 12-year-old boy that's bar mitzvah.
Okay.
Father's giving him a $20,000 tefillin, get up or whatever it comes with. It comes with special prayers in this little box that goes on the head by world-renowned rabbis, and that's what's so expensive is having those handwritten prayers by these rabbis. Outrageous is not necessarily do all that kind of stuff. Are we to put the law in these? Is that what you're asking? The 10 Commandments in these, Amy? No. I don't think that's what they did.
They have certain verses out of Deuteronomy.
Yeah. Darla, did you do Psalms? What did you put?
No, I think what I did, Amy, is I researched what verses the Jews put in there. And some of them are from Deuteronomy that Yahuwah says to put in there, and then they have a couple others. And so I just did them myself, and I wanted to make sure Yahuwah's name was represented there.
Yeah.
So I just made them myself. I typed them up and I made them really, really small. I gave you some when you were here, didn't I?
Mm-mm.
I didn't.
Mm-mm.
Oh no! I'm gonna have to. I thought I had some printed out for you guys. You know what?
No.
You got sick and left early, and I think I probably gave them out after that.
That's probably what happened.
Okay. I'll see if I can figure out some way to make them available to you guys, and then if you want to, you can order. You can go on eBay or wherever and get a little empty mezuzah, and you can just
do your prayers.
If I can get it up, I'll just put it up, and then you can just copy it and put it inside. He says to put it on your doorpost and your gates.
Yeah, I was reading where it said that.
Yeah, so that's a good point Jonathan brought up, because we don't have lamb's blood dripping down our doorpost so that our neighbors are wondering, who got murdered. But after that, he did say to put the mezuzah on your doorpost and your gate. So that's another thing that goes on the doorpost. So, it's a good thing to put up, and you're not offending PETA or whatever they're called.
Well, I was going to ask about the wave sheet also.
The wave sheet. That's the first fruits. Yeah, wave sheet. The wave sheet offering. It's you're supposed to wave the fresh new barley. How are you going to keep it, Paul? Got any ideas?
Well, no, I don't, because I don't know where I can get any barley, but yeah, I was just gonna get the family together and wave it on the first day.
Yeah.
But what's a good substitute if you can't find any barley?
Wait, stop. If you go to a health food store, they can give you a jar of powdered barley. It's a nutritional supplement.
Yeah, but you just want the sheep, right?
Yeah, I mean, Rick's trying to come up with something to use as a substitute for a wave sheaf. If you don't have barley at your next door neighbor's property, I don't think we do.
Yeah.
We have grain growing, but it's not growing up yet, and we don't have barley here. So, I've seen people with like a decorative barley kind of thing, like you know how you see like clusters of grapes that are like from Michael's store or something.
Yeah.
You know, make an effort, make a childlike effort. I don't have barley, Father, but I have this. Will you please accept this as a substitute for now? And we know that Yahushua is really our wave sheaf.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have barley available to us. We're still in the diaspora. Please have mercy on us and bring us home so we can do it the right way.
Right. For the most part, that would be for those who are living in the agricultural world that are growing barley. For those that are in diaspora, and I think the Father is more concerned about the heart and what you're doing to try to make an effort.
Another thing you can do, Paul, is you can write the word barley and wave that.
Yeah, that's another thing I thought of.
Yeah.
Where's first fruits in Scripture?
You're gonna find them all in Leviticus 23.
All of them?
All of the feasts are in Leviticus 23. Everything is there but Hanukkah. And New Moon.
Yeah.
I have a question, Darla.
Yes, ma'am.
You know how it says that first we will see the sign of the Son of Man in the clouds. Now, is that sign Nibiru, and then we know he's coming? Is that going to be the sign that we see, the sign of the Son of Man?
That's something for Gladerson in the Orthodox who are looking. They're basing theirs on the Zohar and what I showed you earlier from Numbers, which says what I would do to you, what this people would do to that people in the end of days. It talks about a star from Jacob, a scepter will appear. They're taking this to be a literal star. Now that's where Nibiru is in the end of days. The Yod is shared with that word Nibiru is in there. And then what you just cited are two examples of what I was talking about earlier. There'll be signs in the heavens. I think there's just going to be something very clear to appear that is going to keep getting more intense until the culmination of when he actually gets here. Incidentally, Nibiru in the Ethiopic language, that word means the love of El has come down. Is it not, Darla? The love of El shall come down, or is it the throne of El shall come down?
Because of love, El came down.
Because of love, El came down. That's what Nibiru means in Ethiopic.
Jonathan, remember how I kept saying from Enoch that they mentioned this Dendayan? I mean, I'm still stuck on this because it really sounds like Nibiru. And I found a couple of articles a while ago that you can't find anymore where the rabbis called it the destroyer planet, but they also called it the throne room of Elohim. Yeah. So that kind of goes together with what you're saying. That makes sense. Yeah. And it also contains the, quote, invisible wilderness where we will reside, what we will only behold with our eyes, the reward of the wicked, of the unrighteous. So I thought that was quite an interesting, like maybe it was known as Dendayan in the past, and now it's known as Nibiru or something. But that was, Enoch mentioned that, and I was just set on that. And with the whole Nibiru thing, it just keeps showing up because Dendayan was seen as a throne room of God and where we will reside in the invisible wilderness.
Mm-hmm.
To behold the reward of the wicked only with our eyes.
Deanna, you actually found something on the Dindayin?
Yeah, I did. And that's what I was telling you a few months ago when I looked it up. It actually said that the rabbis used to call it the destroyer planet.
Wow.
And that's where I'm like, that's it. And they also considered it the throne room of God. But Enoch mentions that it is where the invisible wilderness will be. This is where the feast will be, and where Behemoth or Leviathan will be food for us, where he will be destroyed and he will become the food for us, for our feast. So that was kind of interesting.
The destroyer is also mentioned in the Exodus story, isn't it?
Yeah.
That word destroyer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it comes around like every 2,000 years. When Yahuwah is walking with man in some way. Like with Moses, Abraham, then Yahushua. Then it's like every so often, and that's when it's been supposedly seen.
Yeah. Well. I think it's all relevant and part of what the scriptures calls it wormwood. I think the secular it's not a biblical word. Let's just get that clear. It does appear in the codes, and it's a term that's relatively new. I think stitching.
Well, you mean Nibiru?
The word Nibiru, yeah.
I think it is a Hebrew word. I think it's not in scripture as that word, but I think Ibri is in the word.
Yeah, very similar to Ibri, but I'm talking about the modern take on it, where it's this, Anunnaki and all this kind of stuff. I don't believe all of that is true or even relevant with this these race of people. I think it's more about the planetary system. It's more than one body. I think it's going to cause chaos. I think it's a part of a binary system. We're not.
It's also called the planet of the crossing in the Ethiopian text.
It's very good too.
Planet of the crossing.
Planet of the crossing.
So it has to do with those who cross over it, which is what the Hebrew means, Ibri. Those who cross over. I mean, like it's sort of like we're learning prefixes and suffixes. It's kind of like Nibiru. Hello. It's like you got a prefix and a suffix.
Yeah.
They're crossing over.
Mm-hmm.
And it wouldn't be uncommon, I mean, for Nibiru to have some, like if it is that large a planet, to have other things around it,
Everything around it, moons and stuff, and I think it does. The Caltech students who have astronomy pictures of it, and it it clearly has moons and other things that are orbiting. So I think it's definitely something we're going to see. It's not going to be hidden from us forever or speculated about. I think it'll be manifest and we'll see it.
Just like that word Dindayin, Deanna, you should see in that a Dalit Noon. It's almost like Don. It's judgment. Dindayin should pretty much say judgment to you.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of Hebrew words that are 2 letters duplicated, and they're pretty intense.
Somebody needs caffeine. Wendy. They're falling asleep on me.
Oh my.
We're going about an hour and 30 minutes. You guys got anything else you want to talk about?
No, I was teasing the two that live very far away and are up in the middle of the night that they should get some more coffee.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Mm.
Oh my. Isn't it early in the morning for these guys? Ross, what time is it there?
3:15.
Oh
my God.
my. You guys,
It's okay.
Listen,
It's exactly 2:22 here
oh my, oh my.
in Iceland.
Who would give you guys favor for being here with us?
yeah,
Yeah.
22.
I'm sporting a little mild flu, and so I'm just trying to get myself to do anything right now.
I heard you guys have been
Yeah.
blessed with all kinds of babies.
Yeah, we've had 10 babies. 10 babies.
Mm.
So the
Still
other,
got one that hasn't
yeah,
had
one
it.
still hasn't had them, and we think she's got 2. So we've got 8 born. We've got a cow who's going to calve this week sometime. Rick, are you coming? Is Rick still here, or did he back out?
He's left.
I think he left. So I don't know if
He
this
left
cow's
5
going to.
minutes.
Rick is probably going to come and do Passover with us. So I'm thinking this girl's going to wait till he gets here. So he can kind of experience that. He's already come in to help me shear the sheep that we have because I'm not a sheep shearer, and I need help.
You got one sheared.
I got one sheared, but the videos that they show these guys doing it, and they're all doing it by themselves. There's nobody helping them, so they're holding these animals with their legs, shearing them.
And they might be 20 years younger than
Like
They
2
don't want to do
minutes.
it that way. First of all, they're not that docile when you get them pinned down. They're like, what are you going to do with that? Get away, get away. They try to get away from you and kicking and everything. So I had to get Darla to help me hold our ram and help me get the wool off of them. These Icelandic sheep that we got are very, very woolly, have very long wool. And so, 75 degrees today, and then, it's going to get warmer. We don't want them to die from heat stroke. So it's important that we get them sheared.
They're sensitive to that. Yeah.
Tell John I say hello. I just saw John pass by behind you.
Yeah. I'll tell him.
Yeah. So how's the dog?
Pardon?
Is the dog well?
the dog.
Oh my gosh. He is such a love.
Yeah.
He's huge. He sits on my other 2 dogs' heads now. He just sits on there. But he's the biggest love and learns fast. And he's been such great company to me.
Good.
Oh, that's wonderful.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
A blessing.
Glad that he's got a good family. That little fella cried from here. I'm not kidding you guys. From here all the way to Colorado, about 4 hours, this dog was like terrified that I was taking him to somewhere to have him euthanized or something. And Deanna's daughter's waiting on him, and all he could do was just lick her to death. He was like, "You're my new mommy? Okay, let's go." Yeah, I'm glad.
And this is no puppy. This guy is huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, they get big. These Great Pyrenees are very big, loving dogs. It's good that it's working.
What kind of dog is it?
It's a Great Pyrenees. Yeah.
The sheepdogs, they're big white ones.
It's a shepherd. They're white and very good dogs. Very protective. Harold, was you going to say something? I think I cut you off.
Do you have Icelandic sheep?
Yes, we do. We have Icelandic sheep. I'll get some video of that. When Rick comes, I'll get some video of me and him shearing them. Icelandic sheep and what's the other ones?
Merino.
The Merinos.
Rambouillet.
Rambouillets are 2 of the most softest wools in the world. I think the other is the Australian. Is a good. That's
The
Australian.
Rambouillet?
Yeah. Is there a Rambouillet or Australian sheep?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's the Australian Remolaise and the Icelandic that have very soft wool, and
Also the merino.
yeah, the merinos as well. So when we share them, I'll get some video of that and share it with you guys. We're short, little sweeties. I got a ram that's he's such a little character. He's so loving, but if you don't keep your eye on him, he'll come up behind you and get you behind the knees.
But I had one idea. Just I was thinking about it. The Vikings that maybe came from where Scottish, where Ross is.
Mm-hmm.
They came from Ross and up here from England to Scotland and something. And it might be interesting to just check out in the codes later about like some ancient tales about Iceland.
Okay.
because it's we basically, the history is, well, it's very long, but it's we don't know what happened here.
Yeah. Really?
Like we have a 1,000-year Christian history, I think. It's really long, but it's a mystery what was happening here. Even there is a mention of Greek people going to Iceland.
Really?
In like Plato.
Plato.
I think it's in his books that some Greek went to Iceland.
Wow.
It's just some random.
Scandinavian. It's a Scandinavian secrets book. But what he's telling me is did you say about 1,000 years of history that is lost for Iceland?
No, it's we celebrated 1,000 years of Christianity, I think.
Oh, so I see.
Before that, there was the North Scots. So we have like I think so.
Wow.
It's like hundreds of years.
Well, let's see when you should be coming up on your first code program pretty soon. Maybe that'll be an interest to you to search out something Icelandic, see what you can find about Iceland.
Me and Ross joined together today, and I hope we do it tomorrow. But
sure.
we are practicing and
good.
And I hopefully I don't know about Ross, but I think I should be in module 7 in the month's end.
Yeah, so they're like close to module 7. That's good.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Can I share this with him real quick?
Yes.
No, I'm okay.
Yeah.
And you're really clever.
No.
Pardon me, I'm sort of fluing it right now. I wanted to share this book with you guys. I had my DNA tested, and when you test your DNA and you're a female, you test your mother's 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 mother as far as your test is going to cover. And I came back with Scandinavian. As far back as I paid for like the middle of, there was a lighter test, a medium test, and then a very deep test. I paid for
funny. You don't look Scandinavian.
Well, anyway, when I took that and found out that my mother's roots were back to Scandinavia, I knew that I was from the 12 tribes. So I found this book, Scandinavian Secrets: The Hidden Code of the Hebrew code of the runes, rather. And it shows here, like from here, Jerusalem, it shows basically up into this area, the Scandinavian countries. And basically, if you guys can see this, it's kind of, try to hold it like this. basically they have characters, and when you figure out which one is the Aleph, you just mark an Aleph by it. It's just decoding it is all you're doing. So they have a bunch of runes on stones and things. This one's called the Stenopton stone. There, that's called the Stenopton stone, and it has a bunch of these Scandinavian letters and words. Here's a couple more. And once you figure out what the letters are, I mean, for those of you that are further along, Deanna could do this, Paul could do this, Wendy could probably get around to doing this, Amy's getting pretty close. Like if you have an interest, once you figure out what the letters are, you can literally go in and go, that's not what the translation says. That's not what it says. And they tell you what it says. Here's an English translation of the two stones I just showed you. And I'm sorry the pictures aren't so easy to show you, but the pictures are nice in the book. It says, they show you the runes, and then they show you the Hebrew Aramaic transcription and how to say it, the transcription. And then they tell you the English translation, the strong light demolished completely, and the light of the Lord of Jacob demolished completely, and the people of Israel demolished fully. So that's what that says on this one stone. But once you can tell which letter is the Aleph and the Bet and so on. I think I've marked my book like all up, like you're not gonna be able to see it too well, but anyway,
Yeah.
You can go through and you can pick out the words. You literally can decode this. It's not going to be beyond you. But I went through and I just sort of looked at what those codes said, because the book starts with one of the verses I shared in the Jeremiah module, where it talks about to lay up signposts. By the way, Paul, did you notice in that Jeremiah, I don't know if I made a note of it, but I was studying it on that signpost.
Yes, it's in there.
Where seemed like the word signpost had something to do with maybe like the constellations or something. I really kind of relating it to the sign in September.
Yeah, you had a little bit there.
Yeah.
Not a lot of detail, but yeah, you kind of hinted towards that direction.
Yeah, it's definitely something to be looked at. But anyway, this is not beyond you guys. When you get up to this stage, I'm turning it so you can kind of see what I've got going here. Here's the little runish. It's basically like these Hebrews left Israel when they got kicked out of the land, and then their language just sort of got changed, just like languages get changed when people sin and Yahuwah changes the language. And then they left signs for themselves to get back, is what the premise of the author is. So I'm going to give Jonathan back the chair.
That's pretty cool. So this was the story of Jeremiah leaving the signpost in the wilderness.
Yeah, that's how he starts the book.
Baruch. Yeah.
Oh, wow. So it was that, wow, that's really cool. Way back home.
If I'm remembering how it went, right, is Jeremiah and Baruch hiding the ark in the tabernacle.
They were building and planting. We were talking about that in the Jeremiah module. Jeremiah was told that he would be used to pull down, and all of that was about pulling down. But then the tribe of Yehuda. Mm-hmm. But then he would be building and planting the 10 tribes.
Yeah. Well, and that kind of got, just, roundabout way, that kind of connected me to Penny and Jim Caldwell with the story of the mountain. His original vision was he was told that he was going to be, I think it was going to go back to the mountain where it was created. I don't remember if he was going to be, if he was going to discover it again, or if he was just to go there. But then Darla started getting into Jeremiah and the Second Maccabees, and so it was kind of one of those rabbit trails we went down of exploring. what it was all about. Seems to me like it's going to manifest in the end times. We're gonna see this. I don't know if it's the Ron Wyatt story or if it's going to turn out to be the Maccabee account of where the ark is. But I'm pretty sure it makes a debut on the scene again. Speaking of Great Pyrenees,
Yeah.
she wants to go out. Rick, I see you're back.
Yes. What's up?
You coming out for Passover?
I am. I'll be out there a certain amount of time. Maybe I won't start on Tuesday, but soon after that.
Okay.
Soon after that. How does that work?
That's great. Yeah.
Keep a an inflatable bed open for me.
Yeah. We've got it open. All
So
right.
I hear there's going to be a video of you guys shearing sheep. So that might go viral if it's funny enough. So Darla, you run the camera.
Yeah,
That would be funny enough, wouldn't it?
I told him the other way when you stepped out that I was hoping you were going to come for Passover because I got to get a couple of sheep sheared. And
Yeah, I'm gonna. I'll don't do it until I get there.
all right.
Don't do it until I get there. Soon.
You're gonna take the Icelandic sheep.
Yeah.
I've been for the last year. I've been trying to be like City Slicker.
Yeah. Who's that guy? What is that guy's name?
What's his name, Rick?
I have no. Curly, the legend of Curly.
Yeah,
it's
no,
the
no.
one thing.
I'm talking about Billy Crystal. That's who
Yeah.
it's
Billy Crystal. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a funny movie. It's funny you make that connection. City Slickers.
I hope you guys are just really excited, though, to think about the fact that Yahuwah is keeping vigil over the 12 tribes of Israel in 4 nights.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. Me and Deanna were looking at, what was it, Deanna? Are you still there? We were looking at Isaiah 40 recently and seeing all the promises in Isaiah 40, the one where it says, you know, everybody's going to be scared, but our people will run and not be weary. We'll have wings to fly. I think it's like the last verse of Isaiah 40. It's very empowering compared to what was said prior, which is like he's going to lay low the mountains and raise up the valleys. Everything's going to get smooth, and it's going to be a mess.
You know that that scripture
very intimidating,
where it talks about having wings and being flying back. That scripture, I believe, was interpreted by Isaac Newton as the tribes returning back to Israel and becoming a nation. This is before the state of Israel, mind you. And Voltaire, you know who Voltaire is? You guys know?
Yep, he's another philosopher.
Flaming homosexual atheist philosopher. Made fun of him and said he was the biggest idiot for believing such nonsense. I'm paraphrasing what he said. But his interpretation was exactly right. I mean, they're doing that today. I mean, there's an organization called, Christians and Jews International Fellowship. They flying Jews back to Israel to establish fulfill the prophecy to become a nation. They're actually doing that. They're flying them on airplanes. Before there was airplanes, Newton had made his prediction. This is what it was talking about. These Jews were going to come back. I don't think he could have fathomed that they were flying on airliners, but he certainly attributed that to the return. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's going to be good. I just, it's hard separating the promises from the curses. It's really, you get wrapped up in all that fear, when it says, fear, The fear of Yahuwah is like really essential. I forget how they
Wisdom.
phrase it.
The fear of Yahuwah is the beginning of wisdom, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You okay?
I'm fine.
You got a headache?
I do have a little sinus, but
Not
I'm
me
doing okay.
too. I think we're going to get some rain.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys, it's hour and 45 minutes. If you don't have anything else, I'm going to close this out. I'll get this video uploaded. Thank you, Harold, for reminding me to record this because yeah, I was just jumped right in there and just forgot to do that.
Recording requester.
Yeah.
Amy has a prayer request apparently.
Sure. What do you got, Amy? All right. So Amy's traveling this weekend, and so we're going to pray for her and her safe arrival. And some kind of games. So we'll play for who's favor in your team's efforts there. So anyway, all right, guys, we love you. We'll make sure you come back into the next meeting. If you can't make that one, we'll see you Tuesday. If not, videos will be up Monday this week. Belay that. She's reminding me that it's Monday for this month because Tuesdays is Shabbat. Yeah. All right. So, Abba Yahuwah, we just love you and we honor you. We exalt you. And we are mindful of your feast and what's coming upon us in this new year. We ask that you would be with us in this vigil. Mindful of us, we be mindful of you, Father. And ask that you would fellowship with us and help us to understand your feast and why we keep it. I ask that you go with each one of these students, Father, that you would bless them, that you would inspire them, that you would keep them healthy in every way, and then bring them back to us once again. And I ask this in Yeshua's name. Amen. All right, guys. We love you. And
take care.
We'll see you in the next one.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom, everyone.
Shalom.